On June 14th, that's Saturday, while Donald Trump celebrates his 79th birthday, there will be tanks rolling through Washington, D.C. I will show you the video. They're already there. But millions of Americans are going to be in the streets protesting against Donald Trump. These are the No Kings protests. This is set on Saturday to be the largest national demonstration since Donald Trump returned to office, possibly the biggest single day anti-Trump protest ever. We have events planned in more than 1,500 cities around the country. This is not just a few big marches. This is a national uprising happening all at once. This is happening on Flag Day. It's the 250th anniversary of the Army, both symbols that Trump is trying to wrap around himself. He's throwing a military parade with thousands of troops, tanks, and fighter jets on his birthday. Now, this is a show of force. It's meant to look powerful. But we know, because history tells us, that real power is really showing up in town squares. It's on the courthouse steps. It's on neighborhood streets across the country. And the message is really simple. We don't want a king. We also don't want a dictator, which is really what Donald Trump wants to be. And since Trump returned to power, there have been waves of these protests. But I believe the scale on Saturday is going to be like nothing we have seen during Trump's presidency. We haven't seen anything this loud. We haven't seen anything this well organized. The people behind No Kings are standing up to authoritarianism. That's really what this is about. Billionaire first politics are not good for the non-billionaires. And the use of fear and the use of force to control the public has to be opposed. And this time, I like that the protests are taking the lead. What makes protests like these really matter is not just the number of people, although that does matter. It's how they shift the story. When protests are peaceful, and we'll get back to that, coordinated and widespread, they are impossible to ignore. Politicians notice. They change how the media covers power. They remind us that we're not alone. They turn fear into action. Now, Trump has already threatened to use heavy force against protesters on Saturday. Days ago, he sent thousands of troops to Los Angeles to suppress and to push people to just stay home. He wants people to stay home. But the response has been, people are saying, I'm going to be out there on Saturday. More cities are joining. Even some in the business world are speaking out. The Walmart heiress who funded ads promoting the protest is now facing a MAGA-led boycott. We'll talk about that on the bonus show. So this is what resistance and opposition look like. It's not hashtags. There can be slogans, but it's not just slogans. It's peaceful people in the street together. So in a way, Saturday's a showdown. It's Trump's birthday. It's a parade, but it's a showdown between Trump's wet dream of power and the reality of democracy on the other side. You've got on the one hand a government trying to scare people into silence and staying home and not exercising their constitutionally protected right to peaceful protest and assembly. And on the other hand, you've got a country that I hope refuses to shut up. And so I believe these will be the biggest protests of Donald Trump's entire presidency. They will certainly be the biggest protests of this second term. My hope is that this is only the beginning. Now, we look at history. Historically, protests have the greatest impact when they reach a critical mass. In the research I did for my book on this topic, it's often cited as 3.5% of a country's population actively participating. What's the bad news? The bad news is it's not clear we're going to get the 3.5% on Saturday. The good news is that 3.5% is not that high of a number. And this work comes out of the work of political scientist Erica Chenoweth, who studied hundreds of protest movements around the world. And what she found was that nonviolent campaigns, and that's critical because when the campaigns are violent, it unleashes a whole different scenario. Nonviolent campaigns that engage at least 3.5% of the population bring major political change. It might be regime change. It might be policy reversal. It might be institutional transformation. It might just be starting the momentum towards the next election at which everyone in power is voted the hell out. But the point here is 3.5%. That is roughly, it's probably about 12 million, but let me actually do the calculation. If we have 341 million people in this country, 3.5%, 11.9 million. Yeah, so my math was sort of okay there. What we're talking about is 12 million people taking to the streets. Even below that threshold, the scale matters, right? So if we get 1% of the population, that'd be like 3.4 million. Okay. Even protests of that size, 1 out of 100 people protesting, historically, that has helped to shape public opinion, to draw media attention, and to force politicians to respond. So after the break, I'm going to show you images that really should get you interested in participating on Saturday if you're not interested already. So if you're going to be there, let me know where, info@davidpakman.com. You can Google No Kings Protest and the name of your city or your state to figure out where they're going to be. And in all of this, remember, we need to make sure that we have a strong and robust independent progressive media to talk about the protests before the fact and also to cover them after. So make sure you're subscribed. It's free on the YouTube channel. It's free to get on my Substack. Most of the stuff we're doing is free. We also have membership, but just about everything we're doing is free. Let's build independent media. Let's get out at these protests. Monday, of course, we'll be talking about how they go. We'll take a quick break, and I can't even believe I'm saying it. Tanks in the streets after the break.